So Pakistan is making a hash of its economy. Its iron brother China is not really doing much better. Beijing is taking a sledgehammer to its financial foundations. The current state of China's economy can be described in one word: fragile. And China, being China, is more focused on controlling information than correcting its mistakes. That said, their story is so bad, it's breaching the firewall. The trends are there for the world to see. Chinese households are spending less and saving more. There is a surge in long-term deposits, or what we call fixed deposits, FDs, the kind that your local bank gives you. It is considered the safest form of investment. In China, they're not called FDs though, they're called CDs, certificates of deposit. And this is where Chinese citizens are putting their money. I have some data for you. It is from Chinese financial institutions. They have received deposits worth over $766 billion. And this influx was in just the first quarter of 2023. What explains this? Why are Chinese citizens buying these certificates of deposits or CDs? Because they don't want to risk their money. And that's problem number one. Problem number two is credit. Chinese households are borrowing less. Businesses too have become averse to credit. For the longest time, Chinese banks were loan machines. They used to give out a lot of loans, but now they're struggling. They have the money, but they don't have the borrowers. No one wants that money. In July, new bank loans in China tumbled. They fell by a whopping 89% from the previous month. This includes both personal and business loans. So here is the diagnosis. People are living in fear, they're saving money and spending less. Businesses are worried too, they're borrowing less. And by extension, they're investing less in their businesses. In short, there is an environment of fear in China. The risk appetite has reduced, there is uncertainty, and this has been the case for a while now. We've been reporting on this. Finally, Beijing has woken up. It is trying to fix the mess. China's central bank has made an announcement. It is trying to help other banks. How? By reducing the amount of money they need to hold in reserves. This is specifically in foreign exchange. Banks have to hold a certain amount in foreign exchange. Central banks have a term for it. It's called Foreign Exchange Reserve Requirement Ratio. The goal is to free up some of this cash for banks. How much money is already there in this reserve? More than $800 billion by the end of July. And how much money will today's move release? Around $16 billion in foreign exchange. Banks in China will be able to put this money to use. They don't have to hold it, $16 billion. The Chinese government has taken a string of decisions recently. In fact, one of them is linked to their property sector. It is down in the dumps. Beijing wants people to buy more homes. So they have slashed payment requirements. They have reduced down payment. Now you have to pay only 20% of the cost upfront. That's your down payment, just 20%. The rest can be financed through a bank. For second-time home buyers, the rate is 30%. They've also cut down mortgage rates. Like I said, the goal is to drive up home sales for people to buy more property. Then there are tax breaks on offer. This is also for parents specifically. They can claim higher tax concessions for childcare. They can also claim concessions for spending on education. So like I said, the government has announced a lot of measures. What do we make of these? They may have an impact, but a very limited one. It's like treating a cancer with a plaster. That's what China is doing. And I'll tell you why I say this. Take the example of the new mortgage rules. They have cut down payment terms. But will that alone encourage people to buy more homes? We don't want to hazard a guess. This is what the people of Shanghai are saying.
Because the houses in Shanghai are too expensive, we don't even have the ability to consider.
So lower down payments won't help. And China won't do what needs to be done. It keeps avoiding the question of bailouts. There has been a growing demand for this, for bailouts. Experts say the Chinese economy needs a cash injection. It needs money, a stimulus package to revive the animal spirits. But Beijing keeps avoiding this discussion. They won't be able to do this for very long. All signs are pointing towards a bailout. Look at this report. It came out yesterday. China's top lenders are struggling with bad loans. They have shot up, bad loans. This report covers 4 major Chinese banks: Commercial Bank of China, China Construction Bank, and Agriculture Bank of China. Their bad debts have increased by almost 8%. And do you know what's the value of their bad debts? more than $164 billion. This is for the first 6 months of this year. Clearly, China will take some time to get its act together. The announcements may generate some headlines, but until Beijing fixes the fundamentals, growth will remain sluggish. Meanwhile, India has overtaken China. Numbers from the first quarter are out. We reported them yesterday. India grew at 7.8% this year. China is hovering around the 5% mark.